Hey there, tech fans. Rick here with a quick review of the Array UHDS-401A 4-input, 1-output HDMI switch. This product makes it incredibly easy for you to select from 4 different HDMI inputs and send that media content to a single monitor. You can make that selection using the buttons on the front of the unit or the included infrared remote control. The product fully supports 4K ultra high definition media content and is both HDMI 2.0B as well as HDCP 1.x and 2.2 compliant. It even fully supports both eARC and eARC content. Now, as part of this review, I'd like to start with an unboxing of the product just to show you everything that's included with the kit. And then I'll take a closer look at the 4x1 switch. I'll explain the connections and indicators so you understand exactly how to use it. And then I'll come back and point out a few things that really separate this particular product from a lot of other 4x1 switches you may be considering. So let's get started with the unboxing. When you first pop open the box, you'll find the 4x1 switch. You'll find a single 5-volt 1-amp DC power supply. You can plug this into any standard wall outlet. The other end of the cable has a barrel connection on it which plugs into the DC port on the back of the switch, and that's all the power you'll need for operation. You'll also find an infrared remote control included with the kit, and that's really handy because even though you can make the selections from the buttons on the front, it's nice to have a remote control if you set this up in your media room, because that way you can be quite a ways away from the switch and still make those selections from the comfort of your couch. Also included is a warranty card and a full instruction manual that lists connection diagrams, specifications, and other really important details you'll need to understand about the switch to use it correctly. Now, if you stay tuned next, I'll take a closer look at the switch and explain the connections, and then I'll come back and point out a few things that I really like about this particular switch that you can use to compare it to others you may be considering. The product features a full metal enclosure, which makes it incredibly durable and really helps to minimize outside interference from causing any issues with the sensitive electronics inside. On either end of the cabinet, you'll find ventilation slots that were designed to let any heat that develops during operation escape and keep the electronics inside at a very comfortable temperature. On the front of the unit, starting on the left, you'll find 5 LEDs that are labeled Auto, Input 1, Input 2, Input 3, and Input number 4. And these indicate which of the inputs is currently active. You can choose which input you want by tapping that button. You can also select Automatic. In Automatic mode, the unit will automatically pick the input that was last active. To the right of that are 4 more LEDs labeled Auto, 2.0, 5.1, and 7.1, and those indicate the current audio profile that the unit is adhering to. And you can vary that by tapping the EDID button right here. You can also choose Automatic, and the unit will pick the best selection possible from all the audio options. To the right of that is another LED labeled eARC. This unit fully supports ARC and eARC audio, and you can turn that on and off by tapping that button. So if you're using a media device and a monitor that takes advantage of ARC or eARC, make sure you turn that on. To the right of that is an infrared receiver that's used with the infrared remote control. When you locate this on your media center or in your computer room, make sure this is clear line of sight to the remote, because that's where those infrared signals are picked up. On the rear of the units where you'll make all your connections, starting on the left, you'll find 4 full-sized HDMI ports labeled Input 1, Input 2, Input 3, and Input 4. These are connecting up to whatever media devices you'd like to share on that monitor. If you're using an ARC or an eARC product, you'll want to plug that into input number 1. There's a 5th HDMI connection right here that's labeled Output. That connects to your monitor, and again, it's ARC and eARC compliant. To the right of that is a service port. It's a micro USB port, and that's used for updating the firmware on the product later on if newer versions come out. And to do that update, you'll connect this up to your computer with a micro USB cable, move the firmware file to the unit to complete that upgrade. Finally, to the right of that is a DC input port. That's used with the included power supply. You'll simply plug that into a standard wall outlet. The other end of the cable has a barrel connection on it. You'll plug it in right there, and that's all the power you'll need to operate the product. I hope that closer look was helpful. Now, here are a few really important things to keep in mind when you're comparing the Array UHDS-401A 4-input, 1-output HDMI switch to other products you may be considering. The first thing has to do with resolution. This product fully supports 4K ultra high definition media content at 60 frames a second. A lot of other switches on the market may only support 1080p content, or if they support 4K content, it might only be 30 frames a second. So knowing you have a product that can support the very latest resolutions on the market today means you can use it with your equipment today, and be sure that if you upgrade your equipment, you can still handle it through this switch. Another important distinction is the fact that this product is both HDMI 2.0B and HDCP 1.x and 2.2 compliant. And that's really important because the HDMI standard has gone through a lot of changes recently and it introduced a lot of advanced features, and knowing you're on the latest version of HDMI means you can take advantage of all those features. The HDCP compliance is important as well because that controls copy protection, so knowing you have a switch that adheres to the latest versions of HDCP means you can play a wider range of media content through the switch without any issues. Another key difference is the fact that this product supports ARC audio and eARC audio, which greatly simplifies the connection between your monitor and your sound system at home. Everything you need to get started is included with the kit, and it's a really easy product to use, and it really just does the job. I like the fact that I have 4 different inputs because even though I may only use 2 of those today or 3 of those today, having extra inputs means that as I add more gear later on, I've got plenty of connections on the switch to be able to switch between that new gear and my old gear. So hopefully you found this review helpful. I like the product an awful lot. I think you're going to like it as well. Thanks again for watching, and until next time, stay nerdy.